You check the mirror before you leave the house. Nothing dramatic. Hair, collar, a quick tilt of the chin. You look fine. You look like yourself. 10 minutes later, someone takes a photo of you in the same shirt, under the same sky, and turns the screen around. Something in your stomach drops. Same face. Same light. 10 minutes apart. One of them felt like you. The other felt like a stranger wearing your clothes. Notice how fast that happened. You didn't study the photo. You didn't compare your jaw to your memory of your jaw. The verdict arrived before the thought did, in less time than it takes to blink twice. And notice something stranger. The verdict almost always points the same way. Mirror good. Photo bad. Nobody walks away from a mirror shaken and then feels relief when they see the camera roll. It only ever breaks in one direction. Why would a face be wrong in only one direction? You already have an answer ready. Everyone does. The camera is honest and the mirror is generous. The mirror lets you pick your angle, hold your face still, catch the light. The photo caught you mid-blink and told the truth. You think the camera is honest. It isn't. It never was. The camera didn't show you a worse face. It showed you a face you have almost never seen. Here is the mechanical part, and it is stupidly simple. A mirror reverses you. A camera does not. The face you have looked at every morning of your life, thousands upon thousands of times, is flipped. The freckle sits on the wrong side. The eyebrow that rides a little higher rides higher on the other side. Your smile pulls left instead of right. That face, the one you know more intimately than any other object on earth, has never existed anywhere except in glass. The photograph is the face everyone else has been looking at your entire life. And the reason the real one feels wrong has nothing to do with beauty. It's a survival rule roughly 200,000 years older than the first camera, and it is still running underneath everything you think about your own appearance. In the world your brain was built for, a familiar face and an unfamiliar face were not two versions of the same thing. They were two entirely different situations, and confusing them could kill you. Start with a finding so plain it sounds like nothing. In 1968, the psychologist Robert Zajonc ran a series of experiments on what he called the mere exposure effect. He showed people meaningless shapes, nonsense syllables, characters from a writing system they couldn't read. Some he showed once, some he showed a dozen times. Then he asked which ones people liked. They liked the ones they had seen more often, not the prettier ones, not the more balanced ones, the repeated ones. Nothing about the shape changed, only the count. 12 years later, Zajonc and William Kunst Wilson pushed it further. They flashed shapes so briefly that people could not consciously report having seen them at all. Then they asked those same people to guess which shapes they had been shown, and separately, which ones they preferred. The guessing was at chance. People had no idea. But the preferences weren't random. They still leaned toward the shapes their eyes had absorbed without their awareness. That is the machinery underneath your reaction to a photograph. Familiarity doesn't feel like familiarity. It doesn't announce itself. It arrives disguised as an opinion about quality. Your brain doesn't tell you, I have seen this many times. It tells you this is good. And when the count is low, it doesn't tell you, I have not seen this. It tells you something is off. That's the trick. The measurement gets delivered to you as a feeling, and the feeling gets delivered wearing the costume of a judgment. In 1977, 3 researchers named Theodore Mita, Marshall Dermer, and Jeffrey Knight went looking for the cleanest possible test of that idea, and they found it in the mirror. They photographed university students. Then they made 2 prints of each person, the ordinary photograph and a mirror-reversed version. Then they showed both to the student and asked which one they preferred. Students chose the mirror version. Then the researchers showed the same 2 prints to that student's close friends. The friends chose the ordinary one. Same 2 images. Same 2 faces. Opposite answers, split perfectly along the line of who had been looking at which version. You prefer the you that you've seen 10,000 times. They prefer the you that they've seen 10,000 times. Neither of you is looking at a better face. You are both just looking at the more familiar one and calling it better. That isn't vanity. It isn't insecurity either. It's arithmetic. So picture where that arithmetic came from. You are sitting at the edge of the firelight, 50,000 years ago. The night is loud in the way nights are loud when there is no other sound competing. Around the fire are maybe 15 people. Beyond them, spread across the valley, perhaps 150 more. The number the anthropologist Robin Dunbar has argued is roughly the ceiling on how many real relationships a human being can hold at once. You know those faces. Not the way you know a name. The way you know your own hands. You have watched them chew, argue, sleep, lie badly, and grieve. When one of them steps into the firelight, your body does not run a check. Nothing rises. Nothing tightens. The face lands as safe before you have finished registering that it is a face. Then a shape moves at the edge of the light, and the face that turns toward you is one you have never seen. Everything changes in your body at once. Before you decide anything, before you can say why, that face is not just new. It is a question with a very short deadline. Kin or not kin, ally or raider, someone who will share the kill or someone who will take it. Familiar meant survived. Unfamiliar meant unresolved. And your nervous system learned, across an unbroken chain of ancestors who every single one of them got this call right often enough to have children, to treat the difference not as information but as a physical sensation. Ease for the known face. A small cold pull for the unknown one. Now hold that in mind and look back at your phone. There is a face on the screen. It has the right eyes and the right mouth and the right hairline, and it is arranged in an order your brain has almost no record of. So the ancient system does exactly what it was built to do. It returns a low, wordless verdict, unfamiliar, slight threat. Something is wrong here. And your modern mind, which has no access to that calculation and desperately wants an explanation, reaches for the nearest available one and says, I look terrible. But there is a second thing your brain is doing, and it is stranger than the first. Because your brain does not only prefer your face, it edits it. In 2008, Nicholas Epley and Whitchurch ran an experiment that should be uncomfortable to hear about. They took photographs of their participants and produced a spread of morphed versions. Some blended slightly toward a more attractive composite face, some blended slightly toward a less attractive one, and the untouched original sitting in the middle. Then they showed people the lineup and asked a simple question: which one is the real photograph of you? People picked a version that had been made more attractive than they actually were. And they picked it fast, faster than they identified the true image. The enhanced face didn't feel like a flattering guess. It felt like recognition. So the face in your head is not a photograph. It's a portrait, quietly retouched, updated every time you look in a mirror, and stored as though it were a record. Which means when you look at a real photograph of yourself, two separate systems fire at once. The familiarity system says this is the wrong orientation. The self-image system says this is worse than my file. And those two signals arrive fused together, in under a second, as one clean sensation of disappointment that you experience as the plain truth about your face. It is not the truth about your face. It is the sound of two very old programs failing to recognize an object that did not exist for 99.9% of the time they were being built. Consider how strange your daily environment has become for that machinery. Your front camera shows you a mirrored preview while you frame the shot, then saves the unmirrored image. So the face you composed and the face you keep are not the same face, and the switch happens in the instant between tapping and looking. You are on video calls where a small window of your own reversed face sits in the corner for an hour, refreshing the file. You get tagged in photos taken from below, from the side, from 6 feet away, in a fraction of a second, by people who were not trying to catch you at your worst, and simply caught you at your actual. Your ancestors saw their own reflection a handful of times in a lifetime, in still water, badly. You will see yours more times before lunch than they did in a decade. And in every one of those glances, your brain is quietly logging a face that no one else on earth can see. Meanwhile, everybody who loves you has spent years looking at the other one. That's worth sitting with. The version of your face that makes your stomach drop is the version your closest friend pictures when they think of you. It's the face someone fell for. It's the one your mother knows. They have never once seen the face you're defending in the mirror, and if you showed it to them, something in them would flinch, because to them, that one is the stranger. Neither face is more real. There is no more real. There is only a very old counter, running in the dark, converting how many times you have seen something into how much you like it, and handing you the result as if it were an aesthetic fact. You cannot switch that counter off, but you can know what it's counting. So the next time you look fine in the mirror and terrible in the photo 10 minutes later, you already know what happened in between. Nothing changed about your face, only the number of times you had seen it.